Hey guys, so if you live in the UK or have visited the UK in the new year and switch the BBC One channel on a Thursday night at 9 p.m., you might have seen a show called Death in Paradise on during that time. Hopefully you've watched it because it's worth watching. So this is like an amazing series and we're going to do our reaction on it. So this series is about a UK police DI who is transferred to San Marie to investigate murders on the island. But he hates the sun, the sea, and the sand. And later seasons, we actually see other English and Irish detectives who take over that role. So we're just going to get straight into our reaction now. But before we do, are you new around here? Well, thanks for checking this reaction video out. But also, please do subscribe. We do tons of different videos, Marvel debates like Team Iron Man versus Team Captain America, Disney debates like does Belle have Stockholm syndrome, hilarious pranks, I find them hilarious, tons of reviews and reactions and tons more. So yeah, so I guess backstory into like why I actually started watching Death in Paradise, because you have to watch it at that specific time and that day, and it's only for like 8 episodes per year, which is crazy. But yeah, so it was like a couple of years ago, probably like 4 or 5 now, to be honest. I don't know, it was just on TV. Like my dad put on the TV and it was on. It was like, oh, it was actually really good. Like he was like, oh, you should watch it. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like I was bored, so I was like, okay, I'll just watch it. And I remember it was like that 2-part episode about the murder on the boat, and it was actually the introduction to Jack, the new detective. So that is actually what actually made me start watching it. And I'm actually so glad because it's an amazing show. But yeah, Grace, did you actually hear about the series before I actually recommended it?
It rings a bell in some bits, but when you recommended it to me, I thought I'll give it a try, and I started watching it last year during the summertime.
Yeah, it was
It
when
was
you went
actually
to
a great
Malta.
time because
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, when I started watching it, I started watching it like when I was drying out on the beach, and then I feel like I don't know why, but I always get this vibe like when I'm swimming in the waters or when I'm walking down the beach, I'm more expected to see like a dead body somewhere. I know. It's just like after watching the show about like murders happening in paradise, you're expecting to see like an actual murder in paradise. It just gets you. And yeah, I'm actually glad I watched it because I'm glad you recommended it to me because it's actually a really good show that it's just fun. It's entertaining and yeah, it's just really good.
So for anybody who's actually watched this show, we actually got 4 different detectives that we've actually seen. So we've had Richard, we've had Humphrey, and we've got Jack, and now currently we've got Neville. So it's like, I guess the question is, who's the best detectives? Who's your favorite? So let us know that down below. So for me, that's actually a hard one. Because I sort of like, they're all really different, but they're sort of similar too, because they're all doing the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe Richard for like being sort of like the grump, and like Humphrey for being clumsy, Jack for just being funny, and oh, I also just love an Irish accent, like that's also.
Yeah.
And Neville for just being scared of everything. So yeah, they're all really different. But if I had to pick one, I'd say probably Richard, the first detective we had. It's just because he's like really memorable. And I think when we talk about our favorite episodes and moments on the show later on, he's the one that really stands out to me. Like most of my favorite ones are from when he was actually on the show, like he was actually the detective. How about for you, Grace, if you had to say who's your favorite detective?
Oh God, that is a hard one. I do kind of agree with you that Richard. Like, if I had to pick like a hard case, I would say Richard because I feel like he's the one that's really focused hard, and he won't get distracted. He's really intimidated. Like he goes straight in to solve the case. But the others are so good as well. I'm not gonna lie that they're smart. They're like geniuses, and oh. I can't choose, but I would say Richard would be my favorite one because I don't know. He just fits with the whole storyline. He's smart. He's great.
And I was just talking about favorite characters, but not actually including the detectives. So for me,
Oh,
it was probably Dwayne. He's just really
yeah,
funny, and he's also really supportive. Like even though he sort of like makes fun of like
yeah.
certain things, and but he's been really supportive to like Fidel, JP, and also Marlon now as well. But
Mm.
yeah, I was really gutted when he actually left the show, but I was sort of happy when
Yeah,
he came back for the Christmas special. And then I was
definitely.
sort of gutted again because he left again. But he is he is definitely he's an amazing character, and I really
Yeah,
enjoyed having him on there.
yeah. I got sort of got two. I mean, one of them is Catherine,
Mm,
and it's what I really like about her is that like she's not a big part of the storyline, but she does have like an impact in some of the characters. Like she always
yeah,
like tells them like what's why she's always there to support them, and she's really great. I'm glad she stayed on for this long,
yeah.
and I like Florence. I
Huh.
don't know why, but I really like Flora. I think the actress was great, and
Mm.
of course I felt sad for her for when she lost her
Oh yeah,
fiance. Yeah, it was just sad that we lost her as well because it felt like because if they were trying to get her and Neville together, I don't think that would have worked. I could see
oh
them
yeah,
trying to try to work it out, but I don't see them getting together. I think she's better off. I don't know, going out for her own. If that makes
yeah.
sense.
What I didn't like was that she left and then she came back and then she left again. I was like, oh, you're teasing us, BBC. Like, stop doing that. Like, oh, that was terrible because I was like, oh, she's not gonna leave, and then all of a sudden she's gone again. And I was like,
Mm,
cool, thanks.
yeah. I don't suppose you have a least favorite character?
Oh, that's what I was thinking. That was gonna be my next one. I really can't think of one. They're
No.
all really different, and they all play a different sort of
Yeah.
role.
I gotta admit, Neville did really get on my nerves a little
Oh
bit in
yeah.
the beginning because he was so fussy and complaining. Oh God. I just like deal with it. You're on a different island. You have to just like made your bed and sleep in it. Can't do anything about it. And he's a detective. How can anybody let a detective go on in that position complaining and whining like a baby? I'm sorry, but it's true.
Yeah,
And
but it's good that we
he
get to
did
see
grow
that
on
him
me. He did
development.
grow on
Yeah,
me. Yeah, he became
yeah,
better,
yeah,
thankfully.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, we've seen tons of characters leave, like Florence
Mm.
and Dwayne. But is there maybe one that you might want to see pop up again?
Oh, definitely. Would like to see more. I don't know why, but I'm kind of I want to see Joy again because, like you say, he's a favorite character in the whole show, and it would be great to see him. But not like just like pop. I kind of want to see more of like Ruby. Officer Ruby was actually pretty okay.
I
She
liked
was
her.
alright. She was getting better. She sounded so cheerful and so energetic, which was fine. But I think when you're in that kind of job, you kind of have to be a bit more professional. And I think she was doing so well. It was quite a shame that she left, but I would like to see her again, see where she's up to now these days.
Yeah.
And maybe who's the officer? The young one. PJ?
JP?
JP, sorry. I'd like to see him again because he was actually, I really did like him.
Oh yeah, I liked him too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad he kind of got his own happy ending, right? He got married, he's got kids now. Would like to see where he's up to now. Maybe became a DS himself somewhere.
Yeah, I think they could definitely do spin-offs. I
Oh,
think that would
yeah.
be amazing if they did that.
Mm.
But yeah, for me, it'd have to actually be Fidel. Do you remember
Mm.
Fidel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked his relationship with Dwayne. Like he's so strict. He's so stern with himself. But we actually see like with Dwayne, he actually like lets loose a bit more. And
Mm.
I'd like him actually to come back. I feel like this would be
Mm.
really cool. Like when they're thinking about having the next detective, because when Neville, actually the actor,
Mm.
actually decides to leave the show, I'd
Mm.
actually like to see Fidel, the actor who played him, actually come back, but actually take up that role as a lead detective or
Mm.
something. I feel like
Yeah.
that'd be really cool. Or even Camille, for that matter, coming back and taking up that role of lead detective.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Mm. It was great
Yeah.
that Camille came back as a
Yeah.
cameo and Richard as well. And they should definitely do more cameos of that too. It would be
Yeah,
great.
I'd love to see a few more pop-ups of these old characters that we've had, like Jack. Jack maybe just like taking a holiday and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
better go to San Marie or something. And Humphrey,
Mm.
maybe like one where like all detectives are sort
I
of
was
like
thinking of that. I was thinking,
that
what if
too.
all the detectives come together to solve like a big case?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Like for some reason they're all on the island and they pop in to visit and they're like, oh, we've got this big case. Actually we're a bit short. We actually need your help.
Yeah.
Yeah, BBC, take that idea and develop it and do something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have like a favorite moment or episode? Because there's been a lot of like great things happening in the
Yeah.
show, and there's so many to pick. But do you have like any one in particular in mind?
I had so many. I had to narrow it down because I was like, I don't want to bore you with my whole list of favorite episodes and stuff. But if you do want me to bore you down, let me know down in the comments. And I think maybe me and Grace could do like a top 10 best episodes from Death in Paradise. But yeah, for me, I've just picked top 2. So yeah, one of them, well, actually both of them have got Di, Richard, Paul in them because I told you I love Richard. So first one is season 1, episode 3, called Predicting Murder.
Yeah.
So this is basically what it actually sounds like. So a voodoo priestess named Angelique predicted her actually own murder and also gave a description of the murderer on the beach in front of Dwayne. And then the next morning, they actually find her body in the school. So I'm just going to skip straight to the end because if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. You should stop now and watch it because it's amazing. It's like one of the best episodes.
Yeah, the twist, it's great.
Yeah. So we learn that actually this case is actually related to the death of Angelique's daughter, Delilah. And we actually find that Angelique was actually we find out that Angelique found out that her daughter was murdered by Nicholas, who's Delilah's husband. And he's actually the headmaster of the school. And so Angelique actually set up the whole murder and poisoned herself by putting cyanide poison in a glass of rum so that it looked like Nicholas killed her when he didn't. So basically, she wanted to do that because she wanted to put Nicholas in prison. And this was like the only way that she could. But Richard ends up figuring out how Nicholas killed Delilah and arrested him. Yeah. And this is actually the creepy part because he actually displayed his wife's dead skeleton in his classroom, which was disgusting and shocking. And I was like, what on earth?
You had like students and teachers probably touching that thing and like
that's
so mental. That was
a definite big twist. That was one of the best episodes for me.
Yeah. That's one of the shocking bits, and
yeah, for me the other one then my other one would be season 2, episode 1, A Murder on the Plantation. This was a really sad one for me, and this is one of the ones I actually understood like why they actually did it, and I actually felt sympathy. So basically the episode is the owner of a sugar plantation, Roger Seymour, was discovered in his mill with a machete in his back. And so in the episode, of course, we discover who killed him and why. And it was actually really shocking because I didn't realize that was where it was going. So it actually, and also what I really liked is that it actually linked back to that 200-year-old mystery of disappearing slaves. So we find out that it was actually Louis who murdered Roger, and it was revenge for the death of his father, who actually died tragically after using one of Roger's machines, which was actually defective. And the death was covered up by the Seymours, so they didn't have to pay compensation to his family. So that was it was really sad because I could really understand. But then there was a twist. We find out that his sister is actually involved in this. And I was like, who's his sister? And it turns out his sister is actually the person who was dating Roger. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh. But yeah, and there's this moment in the episode, like that ending, like when Louis actually confronts the Seymour family. And he's like, he had this coming. He deserved it. Oh my God, he scared me. He was so convincing. But yeah, this one, like I said before, it was just such a really impactful episode. episode, and it's definitely one of the best ones for sure in the show. How about you, Grace? Over to you. You tell me about your favorite ones.
I think the first one, the pilot one, actually was the one that actually got me in, because the ending, the twist was like a big shock to me, and it was something that really drew me into the show. So it was about when Richard finally comes in and doing his first case in Saint Marie, and a man was shot in his house, I think in his closet, and he was working inside with Drain, Fidel, and another female officer. And then at the end, we actually learned it was a female officer all along who did it, and I was not expecting that at all. And that was great. I thought, like, okay, if this show does some great twists like that, I'm watching it, and it does. Is amazing. Not like the most memorable cases. Well, the most I like is the ones that actually are funny to me. So like season 2, episode 7 with Richard in it, a stormy occurrence, I think this is called, and we see Richard and Camilla trying to solve a case about a young lad who got killed, and they thought it was in the middle of a storm, but it wasn't. It was set up, and Richard was going through something. He was going to take a photo of like this thing. I forgot what it's called, and this scene actually got me laughing because he spent at least a year in San Marie, and he's the one that was always complaining sick. And when he was taking a photo, he needed the sun to shine, and when it comes in, we see him facing the sun, and he screams, and I quote, I'm gonna do my Richard voice. 300 days a year you shine, 10 hours a day, and the one time I actually want you to shine, you go in. And then it shines out, and he said, thank you. You just see the frustration. You just know how Richard can get so angry, but it's so funny at the same time. And yeah, I think that's one of my favorite moments with Richard. And another favorite moment is with Jack. I forgot which one. It's the first episode, I think, of season 7, I think, I forgot, but it's about like a woman who was about to get married, but then she fell off her balcony, and everybody thought it was suicide, but to DS Jack suggests it's murder, and in the end we learn that the woman, when she and the man she was about to marry to, it was his 3 spoiled children who murdered her. Like, they all planned out carefully how they're going to do it, like set her up, and letting one of them kill their stepmother, and let one of them distract the audience. And it was so messed up, because it just shows like how spoiled kids don't get what they want, they go through whatever it takes to get what they want. It was crazy, because I don't know why, but I always feel satisfied when I see the bad guys get what they deserve, like criminals go through jail or something, getting punished. And I like the look on their faces when like they realize what they've done, and the realization on their father's face when he realized how spoiled his kids are and how they have become corrupt. It was a great case, actually, because I've been in every case, there's always something like an impossible situation. Like, how can a woman die inside a room when the door's locked on the inside? But each episode, each detective gets it. I don't know how, or it's like it's all linked somehow. Don't know how or why, but it somehow links, and it's a brilliant how it actually works. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my favorite moments. Yeah, but it's good. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh gosh, that brings back so many memories. I'm sort of thinking maybe I'll rewatch it again. But yeah, what I like about the show is, like, Grace has pretty much said it already, like the comedy, the stories, the characters, the whole suspense. And also, we as the audience, we actually also can go on that journey in trying to figure out like who it is. Like Like all of the times I'm always like, oh, it's him, but I'm like,
Mm.
nah, it's him. No, it's him. No,
Yeah.
like you just never know until, and then that end, that moment when they figure it out, and you're like,
Yeah.
how was I supposed to know that? And also
Yeah,
the fact
but
that it's
this is
actually not set in the UK as well. It's like set in the Caribbean as well. That's actually pretty cool as well.
yeah. It's someone new and it's better that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm comparing like other shows here, like where it's all based here, and it's all based like the detectives confronting the single murderer. This is kind of like a murder mystery where like they have their whole characters and they're actually gonna say how they did it, why they did it, and or basically who did it. And that's really good. It kind of reminds me of Cluedo in a way. And yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
the
very true.
twists, like the stories in it, the cases are they really are cleverly like worked. I don't know how, I don't know who comes up with these ideas for cases. They just think like, oh, what if this woman dies in her own room and there's like a bottle of prosecco under the bed? Like, what would that include? I mean, people come up with great ideas like this. I don't know who, but it's amazing how they think like that. It's incredible, and they just think ahead. And I think that's why I really like this show, because it's well planned in every show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then talking about what I don't like about the show, it's really hard because I really actually do like the show. I guess the only thing I really don't like is that it's 8 episodes long. Each season is 8 episodes long. So it starts on that first week after New Year's, and then it goes all the way just up to the end of February, nearly approaching March.
Mm.
And then past that, you have to wait this whole year, and I'm like, oh, it's
I
so
know
good.
it's torture. And the one thing I would actually really hate about the show is that in the beginning of season 3, we actually lost Richard, and that was sad because I don't get why did he have to die?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, they were gonna replace him, but why did he have to die? It's like someone in the showrunners room was just thinking like, oh, we need a new character. Let's kill this one and replace him. But then what we're gonna do with the next one? Oh, make him die again, but in a different way, and then get a new character. I mean, someone actually had a gut saying, you know what? Let's not kill them. Let's just replace them in a nicer way and make sure
Yeah.
none of them die. That was, I just feel like they.
Because he can't really come back anymore. Like it'd just be weird.
I know. I want him to come back,
Yeah.
oh, which is so depressing because he's such a good character. It would be really interesting to see him back again, but
Yeah.
oh,
It's not meant to be.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. So who would I recommend this show? Is there any similar
oof,
shows? I'd recommend it to anybody who loves a good mystery and loves
mm,
comedy as well, because this show has some serious comedy. Like you might not like laugh like ha 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 ha, but it's quite relaxed, and it's not that dark. Like that's why I like it. And also the fact, like I said before, it's set in the sun instead of like grisly England. Like, you can imagine if it was set here, it's like raining non-stop, and you can hear you can hear the cars on the road, and but yeah, it's really good. Similar shows, I really can't think of any. Like you can think of like the other mystery sort of shows, but this is really different.
yeah. I would say that not any shows I've ever seen is based outside the UK, really. But I do know shows that like each episode is kind of based on like different cases and they're really good and it's the characters are really fun. So I would think like Sherlock because it's really good, it's well written and the cases are well planned. Vera, because it's based in Northumberland and it's chilly, it's cold, and it kind of reflects like murder, how it's dark, it's gloomy, and the cases are twisted as well, really good. And I was gonna, yeah, like those two really from the top of my head. But this show is unique in its own way. It's different, but it's also brilliant.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend it.
So my final one that I love to finish our reactions with is, what are 3 words you'd use to describe the show? Grace, go for it. Give me your 3
Oh
words.
god, from the top of my head, I would say okay, I would say mystery, fun, and what else? Spectacular.
Funny enough, 2 of those words are pretty much mine. I said mystery. I'm thinking funny, and of course I'm thinking San Marie, because this show just wouldn't be the same if it wasn't on San Marie. I wish there
I was
was a
gonna
place San Marie.
Yeah, I was gonna say sunny because it's always sunny.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
right. Well, that's the end of our reaction.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We would definitely recommend this show, so please go ahead and watch it. It's available on BBC iPlayer, so yeah, go straight on it. But before you leave, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Please leave a comment down below on your thoughts on the show. Tell us your favorite detective. What was your favorite moment? And well, and just say anything what you like in your comments, because this show has a lot. You just got a lot to say about the show. It's really great. And check out our social accounts such as Twitter and Instagram, and check out other reactions such as Once Upon a Time or Lucifer, or check out other reviews such as Wyona Up or our Marvel TV shows. And like Emily said, our pranks, like she did on me Once Upon a Time. Please check it out. Probably might make you laugh. And yeah, check out our website that has information about us and the debate hut. And yeah, so we will see you next time. See you later. Bye.